Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hi everyone, welcome back or to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica and welcome to this week's vlog. It is Monday and let's talk about what I'm planning on reading this week. First, yesterday I started and read most of Scene of the Grind by Tanya Kappes. This is a cozy mystery. It's part of my readathon challenge for the summer readathon challenge through the Killing Time with Cozy's book club. This is also a book that I'm reading through Kindle Unlimited. I do have a Kindle Unlimited subscription and I try to read at least 4 KU books a month in order to make that subscription worth the subscription cost. So that is the first KU book I will have read this month. I am also currently reading on audiobook Daughter of Empire by Pamela Hicks, which is an autobiography about her life within the royal family, and I'm pretty close to being done with that as well. I might end up finishing 2 books today, folks, so you'll have to stay tuned and see if I do that. After I finish... Sorry if you're hearing the lawnmower. After I finish Daughter of Empire, I will be picking up Braiding Sweetgrass. Can't remember the author's name off the top of my head right now. I'll leave it up here. This is one of Emma's favorite nonfiction. She has a channel called The Overstuffed Shelf. If you haven't yet, make sure to go check her out. She's fantastic. And so I'm looking forward to reading that. It's been highly spoken of by a lot of different people. So that is what I'll read on audiobook once I finish Daughter of Empire. When I finish Scene of the Grind by Tonya Kappes, I am either going to read Frostburn by Patricia Briggs or Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. Both of these are books that I need to read. They're on my TBR. So Frostburned is book 7 in the Mercy Thompson series by Patricia Briggs, which is a series that I would like to finish reading through by the end of the year. If I read a book a month, I can get through it. So what I ended up doing was I swapped Frostburned with Amari and the Night Brothers from my July TBR, which I'll link you to up here. I was originally planning to read Amari and the Night Brothers as one of my for sure TBR books, but my friend Helen contacted me and we're actually going to do a buddy read of Amari and the Night Brothers, I think in September. So I'm going to push that back to September and I am swapping it with Frostburned by Mercy Thompson. So I'll either read that one or The Body in the Library, which is another yearly goal that I have of mine. That's another series I would like to read all the way through. It is book 2 book 2 of the Miss Marple series, and I'm really looking forward to it. The description of that book sounds really interesting. I think once I finish the mystery that I'm reading now, I'll probably end up reading Frostburn just to take a break from mysteries because I've read a lot of them so far in July. So I'll hit a pause on the mysteries and probably read Frostburned. I also this week need to read The Uninvited Corpse by Deborah Senefelder. It is the July book club pick for Killing Time with Cozy's book club. So hopefully I will pick that up at some point. And I am also planning to get to The Hollow Places by TJ Kingfisher. Because that's due back to my library at the end of this week. So, ooh la la, a lot of books to read. Wish me luck. Hello, we have a Wednesday update for you. So I finished Daughter of Empire, which is the audiobook that I was listening to. It's by Pamela Hicks, who is the cousin of Prince Philip, who was Queen Elizabeth's husband, and it's her autobiography. It was okay. I like the sections where she talked about World War II and her family's time spent in India, which documents India's independence. Aside from that, I found it was basically just a story of wealth and privilege. some of the things that she considered problems seemed a little trivial to me and just illustrated how out of touch she was with people who don't have her level of wealth and privilege, which I guess I can't fault her for, but yeah, it just made the book okay. Like, I liked seeing the queen from her perspective, and I liked learning about the Mountbattens a little bit more, but overall I mostly just felt like it was a story of privilege more than anything. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I also finished Scene of the Grind by Tanya Kappes. This is the first book in her Killer Coffee Cozy Mystery series. I read this as part of the Killing Time with Cozies Summer Readathon Challenge. Killing Time with Cozies is a book club, and I love my book club. So I did read that, and I enjoyed it. I read cozy mysteries because of the way it documents the mundane, gives me a chance to live in someone else's life for a while. I don't necessarily read them for the thrill of the mystery. The mystery in a cozy mystery is more like a puzzle than it is like a thrill ride. And if I want a thrill ride, I'm going to read a thriller. So the mystery part of this book was very formulaic. I figured out both the killer and the motive early on. And so that, that wasn't stellar, but it's also not why I read a cozy mystery. I read cozy mysteries because of the way they depict just day-to-day mundane lives. And this book was rich in the mundane. So I gave it 3 stars out of 5, and I will continue reading the series. The next book that I've checked out from my library is called Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And I really love this book so far. I really love this book so far. I've listened to about half an hour of it. And so far she's describing permaculture, basically. And permaculture is something that I am starting to feel very passionate about in my own personal life. But it's about how basically systems of nature work together to create sustainability. And I'm really liking this book so far. She also talks about her Native American background. I believe she said she's Ojibwe, and she shares some of the Native American legends and talks about how those legends are incorporated into just her love of plants, her love of nature. She's sharing her experience of attending college for botany and some of the I guess you could call it a microaggression that she experiences being someone who isn't from a Western school of thought and is trying to study botany in a westernized school system. The book is part memoir, it's part scientific exploration, and it's part critical social analysis. It's really good so far. I also picked up for my next Kindle Unlimited read The Beginner's Guide to Raising Chickens by Anna Kuo. I have fallen down the chicken rabbit hole. The chicken hole? Anyway, you're going to see me reading a lot more books about chickens. And I'm not even going to apologize. And then the next book that I'm reading physically is Frostburn by Patricia Briggs. This is the 7th book in the Mercy Thompson series, and I'm trying to finish that series this year. So those are the 3 books I have on my reading list. Those are the 3 books I'm reading right now. So we'll check in later, I guess. Yeah. Do you ever have one of those days that is just a complete wash on productivity? I'm having one of those days today. I feel like time has gone by so fast. And my to-do list, which is this big, I've only gotten like this much done because A, I can't focus, B, I can't focus, and C, I can't focus. I'm just having one of those days where my brain does not want to cooperate with me and does not want to be productive at all. So, I mean, I've done what I can, but I feel like at this point, it's like almost 7 p.m. At this point in the day, I need to just call it a wash and let it go. You know what I mean? Like, do you have days like this? Tell me I'm not alone. Tell me I'm not alone in this. Haven't really done a lot of reading this week. I've had a lot of work to do at work, and yeah, I just haven't, you know what? That's what it is. That's what the issue is. I haven't done my reading. I haven't been reading as much as I need to function. Like, okay, am I alone in this? I keep asking that question. I ask that question because I have a hunch that I'm not alone in this. But for me, as someone who loves books as much as I do, and as someone who is neurodivergent, like, I have to read every single day, at least like 50 to 100 pages a day, or I just lose capacity to function. Is that terrible? I don't even know. But it's like I have to get that in, otherwise my brain just will not settle. It just will not settle. And I haven't been reading this week, and today has been a complete wash because I cannot focus on anything, and I think it's because I haven't had my reading time. I really think that's what it is. So, I always feel self-conscious when you're here.
Sorry.
Brandon and I are going to the local feed store for a new project that I'm working on here at my little homestead. So, we're taking you along. Hello, it is Saturday, and I'm making a crock-pot egg and sausage bake thing for dinner. I haven't checked in a whole lot this week. So yesterday I took you along with Brandon and I. We went to our local feed store and picked up some supplies. Here I am just like tossing an onion around. But we picked up some supplies because I will be getting chickens. I showed you some of the baby chicks and stuff they had at the feed store. Those are not what I am getting. I am going to order from a hatchery. I'm planning on getting black Australorp chickens, 4 or 5 of them, and I will be boarding them at a farm. And so yesterday after we went to the feed store, we went to, I should start cutting this onion instead of just like throwing it around. We went to a feed store. After we went to the feed store, we went to, sorry if you're hearing my phone go off, we went to the farm where I will be boarding my chickens. And there's a glare on my glasses. I look hella tired because I was up until like 3 in the morning last night trying to make a decision on a horse. So, the farm where we went, they have a great setup for my chickens. Totally going to move forward with that. And it'll be really nice because basically I pay them a fee every month to board them since I live in a townhome and there's in my HOA not really any wiggle room for chickens. So I am going to board the chickens, and I think it's going to be a really great situation for them. They already have some chickens there, but my chickens will have like their own separate stall in the barn, and basically I will get to go just spend time with them and collect their eggs and all of that for a very reasonable boarding fee. anyway, the farm is actually a horse farm, and I've told you before that I have some horse experience. I have dreamed of working with horses since I was a very little girl. I don't know where my recording stopped. I'm having weird issues with my phone running out of storage. I've even attached like a flash drive to it, and it's still just having a lot of issues. So the onion is chopped. Now we're moving on to potatoes. Look at this heart-shaped potato. It's so cute. Anyway, it's so cute, the heart-shaped potato. I don't remember where I left off. I think I mentioned how I really wanted to get into horses when I was younger. And if you watch my BookTube newbie tag, I talk about this book series called Thoroughbred by Joanna Campbell, which is like a children's / middle grade book series about horses. And I always really wanted to get into horses as a kid. I can understand why my parents said no, though, because it is so expensive. Anyway, the barn where I am keeping my chickens has a really wonderful setup for the chickens, and they also board horses. One of the boarders there is chopped potatoes, is selling their horse. And they have a thoroughbred. He's 17 hands high. He's 6 years old. He's a chestnut color, absolutely beautiful. He's a former racehorse, and he had to quit racing because of a bum leg. So I met him last night, and I was up till like 3 o'clock this morning trying to decide if I wanted to buy this horse or not. And ultimately what I decided was no, because I'm not exactly a lightweight. I don't know if you've noticed. But a good rule of thumb, if you're wanting to get into equestrian, no matter your weight, is 20%. So you should weigh no more than 20% of the horse's healthy total body weight, right? And this is because, like, if you weigh too much for a horse, then you can cause a lot of harm to like their back and their legs if you, especially if you're an inexperienced rider. And I am a pretty inexperienced rider. I have worked on a horse farm when I was in grad school, which if you've watched my vlogs before, you know that I talked about it before. But really all I did on that farm was I would muck out the stalls in the morning, which means like clean out all the poop in the stalls, take the horses out to the pasture. And then in the evenings, I would bring them in from the pasture, get them food, and groom them. So like I learned the basic care needs of a horse, but I didn't do a lot of riding. The horses that they had were very wild, and they weren't well broke for riding, and so we didn't do much riding. And so with my level of experience as a rider, and with this guy, this horse that I looked at, I would be just at that 20% mark for, you know, our combined weights. And so I'm deciding to pass, because if he has a bum leg and I'm just at that 20% mark, I might end up spending a bunch of money on what would essentially be a decoration in the pasture, you know. A horse that I couldn't end up actually doing anything with. So it's going to be a no for this particular horse, but y'all, it did wake something in me. So we'll see what happens from here regarding a horse and equestrianism at the Lovestead. Got some bell peppers. I also found some kale in my fridge that I will add to the casserole. But let's do a reading check-in. So, I don't really have much to say for reading. I'm having such an off week when it comes to reading. For whatever reason, I just have not sat down to read. And it's not doing me any favors, because when I don't read, I have learned that I don't function very well. What I've been doing at night to kind of relax and de-stress has been gaming, playing video games. And I just realized that while it's fun, gaming just does not do for me what reading does in terms of like stress reduction and relaxation. So I'm hoping I got behind on work too because my brain has just been so scattered. So I've got to do some work this weekend. It's like 4:30 p.m. on Saturday evening already. Been watching the Olympics all this morning. And so my plan is, like, I'm going to continue watching the Olympics and doing my work that I need to get done here the rest of the night. I've got some housework things to do, like laundry and whatever. And then hopefully tomorrow, which is Sunday, I'll actually be able to get some reading done. Yesterday, after we went to the feed store, we also stopped by Goodwill. And I got this food dehydrator for $2 and this basket for $2. I needed a basket for my gardening so that I could harvest everything. And I harvested a bunch of herbs today. So I'm going to put the herbs in the dehydrator. I have mint, basil, rosemary, sage, thyme, and lavender. So I'm going to load up the dehydrator with the herbs. There's all the mint. Here we have sage, rosemary, lavender, and thyme. And then up top, basil. Hi everyone, it is Monday, and yesterday I just kind of took a break from filming just to have a day to myself. I need to do like a life admin day, reset day, whatever you want to call it. I just have felt so scattered the past like 4 or 5 days or so, and like having focus issues, and I feel like a little bit overwhelmed with all the moving parts going on in my life right now. So yesterday I basically just worked all day to catch up on some things and then watched the Olympics, and I got a little bit of reading done. But honestly, this week has been a real wash in terms of like reading. Like, I just haven't been reading at my normal level, which I think happens to folks sometimes, right? Like if you get busy, or like in my case where I'm not quite feeling like myself this week, and it just is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this vlog. I don't have any footage from yesterday, but that's life. And so let's go through what I actually did read, which was very little compared to my normal reading pace. So on Monday I finished Daughter of Empire by Lady Pamela Hicks, who is the cousin of Prince Philip, basically just documenting her life as a royal. Gave it 3 stars. It was a fine book. I enjoyed it because I obsess a little bit over the royal family, but I don't know that the average reader would really find it that interesting. So 3 stars for that one. And then on Monday I also finished Scene of the Grind by Tonya Kappes, and this is the first in her Killer Coffee Cozy Mystery series about a woman who opens a coffee shop in Kentucky, and it was good. It was cozy. The mystery was a bit formulaic, and the romance in here was very unrealistic, I thought. So 3 stars for that one as well. Then the rest of the week I tried to read an audiobook, Braiding Sweetgrass. I've only read about half an hour of it, and it's 16 hours. No, not half an hour. I've read an hour. I've read a good hour, maybe an hour to an hour and a half of it. But it's 16 hours long, so I'm really not that far into it, but I'm really enjoying what I have read of it. And that is by Robin, oh, what's her name? And that is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. I also picked up the beginner's guide. I also picked up the beginner's guide to raising backyard chickens, and that's by Anna Kuo. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I am enjoying this book. A lot of what's in here so far I already know because I've already done quite a bit of research just online, and there have been a couple of helpful tidbits in here that I am going to take away from it. I am on page 135, which is about halfway through. I got a good chunk of reading of that done this weekend, actually. Like, good chunk, all things considered. And then I have been working on Frostburn by Patricia Briggs, which is book 7 in the Mercy Thompson series. I'm only like 50 pages in. So that is what I was able to accomplish for reading this week on a very off week where I'm not quite feeling like myself. So not terrible, not great. It is what it is. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, leave a chicken emoji down in the comments. And until next time, make sure to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye!